everyone, I'm Celine Chenoy, the Director of Relationship Intelligence at Say Allo, a dating app created for Youre. Online dating has its own share of challenges. And now that we're all safer at home, it is the only way to meet new people. But don't worry, we at Say Allo have got you covered. Our featured guest, Dr. Marnie Okay, I'm gonna edit that out. Our featured guest, Dr. Marnie Feuerman, a licensed psychotherapist and a nationally recognized relationship expert, is gonna help us figure out how to deal with some of the most common online dating frustrations that singles have. Hi, Marnie, how are you doing today?
Hi, Celine. Great to be here.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you and to get your insights into some of these common problems that daters have out there. Thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I know it is hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought that the best way for us to do this is for me to just state each of these common frustrations, and then you can give your take on how we can deal with them. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. So let's go for it. So the first one is online dating feels too superficial because almost everyone judges you based on your pictures.
Yes. And I mean, a piece of this, I hate to say, is true. It probably even affects women a little bit more in this department. But I think we also have to think about the same thing tends to happen outside in the real world. So it's not just going on online or on an app and just seeing somebody's picture.
Mhm.
We need to have that initial attraction. So the first thing we do is we judge somebody on their looks or their appearance. But I actually think it's a little bit of an advantage with an app or a website, or you're writing a dating profile, because that's your opportunity to show something that's a little unique, show a little piece of your personality, maybe put out something there that's funny. So it's something that will draw somebody in that you probably wouldn't really have that opportunity if you just saw them in a bar or at a grocery store.
Right. So it could be like a certain interest that you might share in common with a certain match, or yeah, I think it can really enhance your profile, right? Having that opportunity to write more about yourself and just be based solely on your appearance.
Yes, and I think if you can only show, let's say, a little blurb or a little piece of the
Mhm.
information next to your picture, look at that as your hook line. You know, just like when you're reading an article or something, like if you read the first line and it draws you in, you're likely to stick around and kind of see what it's about. And so I would say that's your entry point, and that's where you want to put out that best piece of yourself or your personality, like right there next to your picture. So hopefully somebody looks a little past the picture and doesn't just judge you on something that's so superficial.
That's great. I love that. And the next one is online dating is too time consuming and feels like a full-time job with no guarantee of success.
Yes, it is time consuming. So that is true. But what I would ask people is, what other choice do you have? I mean, if you want to find love and you want to find your match, and you're at a certain, and you're at that point in your life where that's important to you, and you want to do that, and you have certain goals for, let's say, commitment or settling down or having kids. I mean, you kind of have to do it. And so just realize that everybody's in the same boat. You know, a lot of people have to do that. And so right along with you, they're feeling the same way. And and also it is really a good way to meet people. I mean, you're going to meet so many more people than you normally would just going about your day-to-day life or asking friends to introduce you. And so we know that the outcomes have been very successful, and I'm not sure of the exact statistic, and you would probably know this, but so many people meet online nowadays. It's very, very common.
Yeah, especially now during the pandemic, because obviously you can't meet in person.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, even myself, it's like if I think about the time spent trying to find the one, and I actually ended up going online. This was a long time ago, right? But if I think about all the people that I met and dated, and then and how much time it took, yes, it was. But now, I've been married for 18 years, so it was worth it. And I don't ever look back on that time and think, oh, that was wasted time. I mean, what does it matter if you end up finding the person you want to be with? So that's the way that I look at it.
Yeah, do you think it also helps to see it as, a fun experience getting to meet all these people and just, you know,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think you have to have the right attitude and the right approach for sure. I think if you look at it like you're just meeting other human beings, um, and that you're just interested in them and you're interested in learning about people, that's the right attitude to have, and you won't feel like it's wasted time. I mean, think about when you're at a party and you're talking with lots of different people and having lots of different conversations. You don't look at that as work. You don't say, oh, I met 10 people tonight, that was dreadful, and I learned this one about that one. Or you
yeah.
don't say that. Usually we're excited to interact and meet people. And so I think you can have that same approach when you're doing dating, whether that's online or, the old fashioned way.
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Okay, the next one is I'm not getting matched with the right people. I don't feel compatible with them or experience any chemistry when and if I meet them.
Yes, I mean, I know that this does happen. But again, if you put the time and energy into it, that right person will likely come across your radar. And just know that that also mirrors the same experience people have in real life. Everyone you meet, you are not going to have that chemistry with. And you're still going to have to do the same thing. So even if you were meeting people in person, or again, you were, let's say, in a social situation, at a bar, at a party, or whatever it is, you're not going to have chemistry with everybody there. And that's what I think also makes it so special, because you're going to know right away when you do meet that person and you have that chemistry and the attraction's there and all the planets line up. That's it. You're gonna say this was all worth it, and you're not going to be thinking so much about all those people you didn't have chemistry with. So eventually, I think it does happen for people where they meet the right one and the chemistry is there. So I would say just stick with it.
Do you think that there's a difference, though, between chemistry and compatibility?
Yeah, because you could have poor compatibility with someone that you have chemistry with. I don't want something that I educate people on is to not be so fooled by chemistry and of course attraction. Those are what gets people started. That's what gets people even entertaining the idea of having a relationship with somebody or dating them or whatever it is.
Sure.
But after a while, you're going to want to have compatibility, certainly with your interests, but mostly your values. And that's something you learn along the way. But I would say, people need to also understand that you could still have strong chemistry with somebody, but you can decide on a practical level that they're not right for you. And that should be much more important.
Right, right. Also, something I just want to mention about our dating app, Say Allo, is that it does a great job at addressing this particular concern about finding someone compatible. The app is built in a way that uses technology to help people find their best matches. So the way it works is that it's based on user engagement. We send out recommended profiles every day at 5 p.m. based on the patterns that users show when they're selecting their matches. So essentially, we match people based on compatibility, and this makes it easier for daters out there to find the right person. So we definitely think that this is a feature that would help daters out there and find that right person within a shorter span of time. So definitely do check our app out, everyone out there. Um, so Marnie, the next question is, the next concern is the people I meet on dating apps are flaky and less serious about pursuing a real relationship. Then they're more likely to ghost, cancel dates, and remain a texting buddy.
Yeah, this is a very common complaint. And I think that's a great reason why your app is aiming to hopefully change that. because compatibility is also around what somebody wants, like what they're looking for. And then two people have to be in alignment over that. So you could have one person looking maybe to just have a fling and mess around. You have some people who are just wanting to date or have friends, and you have some people who are serious and looking for a long-term relationship. And so that's usually information that you can generally get, I guess, unless somebody is hiding that or being deceitful about that. But in most cases, you're gonna get that right away. But I would tell people not to use that as an excuse to not date and not look for the person that you want to be with. So know that, like, yes, you just have to expect you're going to come across some people like that are perhaps flaky or don't want the same things you want. But I would say be direct about it. Be direct, be open, be very honest about what you want and what you're looking for, and really pay attention to the answers that you're being given. And I would say listen to what they're saying. And if the words, the actions, things don't line up, you realize, oh, we don't have the same values, we're not looking for the same thing, or we're really not that compatible, then you've got to just move on.
Yeah, I think there's certain patterns you need to look for, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, some people, if they find they're in the same situation, over and over and over, they can certainly ask for feedback, or, try to find out, am I giving off the wrong signal? What am I doing? Maybe you have people you're close with, people who love and care about you, certainly, your friends, your family, who might be able to give you some feedback because maybe you're sending some wrong message or some wrong signal. But other than that, I would say it's again just sort of having a really good attitude, and know that it's going to take time. But when it happens and you find someone you really want to be with, it makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, and you've experienced that.
Yes, and I myself have experienced that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think also because there's so much choice out there, do you think that plays into how people date online? They kind of feel like, oh, you're replaceable. If
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They get a bit spoiled.
Yeah, I think that's one of the unintended consequences of a very good thing, which is um, apps and certain programs or whatever's out there to try to get people to date and find their match. I mean, I think it's like a very good aim, but the unintended consequences, some of them they do give this paradox of choice, is what we
Right,
call it.
exactly.
There's so many options, and then people do start to think people are replaceable. But from what I know, I bank on the feeling of love, okay? And so it's such an incredibly powerful feeling that when you find that person and that is there, and you feel that spark, and they sort of check all the boxes for you and all of that, that's very powerful. And I think no matter what nonsense is going on, or no matter what people do and their funny behaviors around this, they usually stop when they find that person that they really want to be with, and they feel like they could fall in love with them, or they're labeling it love at least. I think that sort of overrides a lot of that stuff, and I think eventually it doesn't happen. But I do think that is the danger, is that people tend to kind of see it as, all right, if I don't like this person, I just go online and there's 20 more profiles there. But eventually you're going to stop at somebody, and you're going to feel what you feel, and it's going to kind of stop you in your tracks from doing that.
Yeah, but I think you got to be open for that, right? And you got to keep that romantic side of you alive.
Oh yeah, yes, you do have to be open for it.
Yeah.
And I think if you see certain behaviors that tell you this person is doing that, or they're making you feel like you're replaceable, or they're not valuing you, you don't want to spend your time with that person anyway.
Yeah, I totally agree. Don't waste your time.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so the last one is there's too much texting and less talking and meeting in real life.
Yes, and I think the longer there's just the talking and texting, I don't think that's a great idea. So I'm one who kind of votes for trying to meet the person relatively quickly and getting offline, to actually meet them face to face. So if you find that's happening, just be open about it. communicate your boundary, your limits, what's right for you, what's not. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Like, again, I don't care about the gender lines, all that stuff. If you want to actually move it forward and you want to meet the person, just say so. Hey, we've been texting back and forth for a little while now. Can we meet Friday at 4 o'clock at Starbucks? Whatever it is. So just ask that and just set it out there. And if you don't get the response, or they blow you off, or they just keep texting and you never set the plan, you're going to want to move on. Just move on. That person is not right for you then.
When would be the right time to ask to meet in person or to speak on the phone?
I would say relatively quickly. So let's say you text back and forth for just a couple of days or a couple of quick conversations. I would say move it to phone as quickly as possible. Maybe even video. Having a little video call. That's nice too. And I'd say if that happens, you're going to want to meet them within, if you can, if they're geographically at a normal sort of location, and we don't have pandemics and things going on, whatever the circumstances. But I would say relatively quickly, maybe within a couple of days, within a week. But I think if the texting back and forth and just calls goes on for an extensive period of time, chances are if they're blowing off the idea of meeting you, then they may not want to do it, or they're telling you that they're not that serious, or they don't want the same thing you want. And I would say you just have to listen. You have to pay attention to it, and maybe just say, okay, maybe we're not, this isn't going to happen for us right now, because I like to meet relatively quickly. If you're up for that, great. If not, maybe we should, revisit this another time when you're ready.
Right. I never understood the psychology of these serial texters. It's like, aren't you on the app to eventually meet the person? I don't get it.
Well, especially if you're on a certain app that, every app has a different sort of theme, reputation.
Yeah.
If you just want to text back and forth, have a texting buddy, make sure you're on the app where it's more conducive to that. But if you're on one of those that really, the goal is to match people up who want to be together and have a relationship.
That's hello. That's
yes.
Yeah.
Then don't be on that app. Yeah, don't be on that one, because that's not right. But I do know people slip through the cracks, and they might be on there anyway. And some people do just want to play games, and some people are immature, and and some people, really unfortunate piece is when they lack empathy, because that's kind of what I'm seeing it as. It's like, have empathy for somebody who is really out there searching for a partner, wanting a relationship, wanting love in their life, and you're mistreating them, or you're playing games, or throwing the breadcrumbs, or whatever it is. I think people can bring more empathy to the process, and that we need that kind of all around.
I totally agree. And there's so many out there, the bad boys and the immature girls. What is the bad boy version of girls? I don't even know. Bad girls?
Yeah, probably. I mean, people do this to each other, and I certainly hope that the tide changes and people realize that it's really not the best way, to treat people. And it's better to just be upfront and honest and direct, and just say, I'm only looking for a friend, just looking for a texting buddy. But pay attention to the actions, of course, more than the words.
Yes.
And if they say, oh yeah, of course I'm looking for something serious, but all they're doing is texting you, then you want to pay attention to the actions, which is just texting you, and that they're not actually really gonna pursue anything with you, probably.
Right. So I think it's just about taking control and believing that you do have power in these situations.
Yeah, and I think people can apply, a certain strategy, to the process.
And they can find that on your blog. I know you have a lot of great information on your blog. Yes.
Yes. And there's lots of good information out there about how to have a strategy towards this that I think can really help them if they are, more serious about finding love. And then, sometimes people may want to meet even with like a dating coach or somebody to kind of help guide them a little bit. Again, not doesn't mean they're going to need it forever, but maybe they need to tweak their strategy for how they're approaching it, and they might, see that like some major changes come their way when they just do things a little bit differently.
Right, right. Okay, that's it, Marnie. That was so
Great.
great. Thank you so much for offering all those brilliant ideas and solutions to some of these common frustrations that online daters have. So where can people learn more about you?
Sure, they can find me at drmarnieonline.com. That's drmarnieonline.com.
Okay, perfect. Marnie,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry, are you not done yet?
Oh, no, I just want to say thank you so much. It was great
Yeah,
talking about this stuff.
absolutely. And we appreciate you being here with us on Say Allo. And yeah, it's been a real pleasure.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks. And good luck with the app. It sounds wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
Okay. For more dating and relationship advice, please visit us at justsayallo.com. Thanks, everyone.